Welcome to the Daily, where we just take a few minutes each day to put Jesus in the center of our life. It's Saturday morning, April 25th, and in our journey through Scripture, today's reading is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 32 and 33, Psalms 47, and Romans chapter 9. Now, if you'd like to get a text message reminder of the daily reading plan, you can sign up by texting @FaithDaily to 81010. But today, I'll be reading from Romans chapter 9, so let's go. I remember one of the things I enjoyed as a child was building forts. There was this woods near our house, and we always tried to build forts there. And I remember this one time we turned one of my friend's swing sets into a fort. We were always building a fort. I think that there was a prerequisite as a kid to have a secret knock to your fort. That way, only your friends would know it, and that way you'd know who you were letting in. You wouldn't let anybody's sisters get in. There's that specific rhythm that when they knocked, you knew who it was. That was fun when we were kids. But I'm so thankful that God's kingdom is not set up with a secret knock or as a secret group that only those who know just the right things can get in. In Romans chapter 9, you can tell that there's this conversation or maybe even a disagreement that was taking place as it relates to who could receive God's grace. Now, we know historically there's been this understanding that the Jews were God's people. And when Jesus came and died on the cross, we know that he died for everyone, whether you are a Jew or not. And this whole chapter is Paul's attempt to convince the Jews that God has the right to give grace and mercy to whomever he wants. The difficult part for the nation of Israel at this point and their position is that for generations there's been this understanding that certain things needed to be in place in order to be in right relationship with God. One of those was to follow the law of Moses. That was God's arrangement with his people before Jesus. It's almost like there was a secret knock that you needed to know for the door to be opened. Jesus changed that for all time. And in verses 30 through 32 of Romans chapter 9, Paul writes this. He says, "What does this all mean? Even though the Gentiles were not trying to follow God's standards, they were made right with God. And it was by faith that this took place. But the people of Israel who tried so hard to get right with God by keeping the law never succeeded. Why not? Because they were trying to get right with God by keeping the law instead of by trusting in him. They stumbled over the great rock in their path." This is an incredible portion of Scripture as they were trying to do what they could. They tried to do whatever they could to be in right relationship with God. We see in this Scripture that all we need to be in right relationship is not to do certain things, but to have faith in Jesus, to put our life in his hands. Now, this may seem really easy, but you've got to know it's a decision that we have to make every day. And as we get up each day and put one foot in front of the other, we need to say, Jesus, help me today. Help me to live for you. So regardless of pandemics or pains, uncertainty, or the situations or circumstances of life, let's put our faith in Jesus today. And not just today, but every day. Let's put our faith in Jesus. God bless you and have a fantastic Saturday.